of universal service. We've had generations of people paying the same rate for a phone in town and out in the country. This is fundamental to this industry. The costs of providing were much higher in rural areas, and they still are, and that's what prevents people from providing service there if you can. Yet at the same time, Diane makes reference to the fact that when people go cellular, God, you go 4G and you start paying for data on that stuff, it's incredibly expensive. Or your other alternative is Sky Blue or Hughes, Wild Blue, whatever you want to call it. Expensive blue. I mean, it's so universal service applies to kind of the cable, what we remembered as cable and what we remember as telephone. But internet, depending upon where you buy it, is priced differently. So I don't know if exploring some, because you've got, I used to call on ranchers out in South Dakota. You know, going to the grocery store was a 70-mile one-way trip in their dually truck. They were willing to spend a whole bunch of money to go get groceries. They go, all I want is internet because my kids come home from college and they can't even do their homework, and I can't download blueprints on my tractor. You know, I'm working. You know, so for a whole bunch of business reasons and kids, they were willing to pay, but there was just no one who would even provide it at any cost. And it's kind of curious, except wireless, and everybody thinks wireless can solve everything. I mean, you've got another thing going on here. How far are you from 35? Half
About
a
a
mile?
golf ball.
Half a
Yeah,
mile?
sure,
Yeah. 9 iron? Well, go that way about 40 miles, and that, you know, because all the cell towers are right along the arterial transportation routes. And the further you get away from them, the more foliage you got, the more terrain problems. The service degrades, you know. So it's, you know, your towns, which are commuter towns, and guess what? Your commuter towns are very close to arterial supply into the urban area too. You know, people aren't going to live 40 miles off the highway. They're going to live 15 or 10, 5, and get on and get going. So it's a fascinating story. I don't have the answers.
Right. Well, it's curious too, just from that. I mean, because a lot of people do make that comparison to electrical service and internet service. And well, you know, electricity is electricity, and no matter where you go, you throw the switch, and generally within within rate, it's the same. You're getting the same electricity.
Got there for the same reason.
It's the same thing. Pardon?
It was the agency I'm with is real telecom stuff.
Yes.
The REA preceded us by 14 years.
Right.
I mean,
right.
And you wouldn't have electricity out in the middle of the boondocks.
Right.
Either had it not
Right.
been.
You know, and the rates are different in different places, but not wildly, right? Not wildly different. And you do have, you know, I can buy more electricity, and I will pay more, right, if I use more.
You want to buy it, they'll bring it.
And yeah, but if I want, right, if I want to buy it, they'll bring it. On the internet side, you make that comparison to wireless, and you know, wireless is different than, you know, it's the same bits and bytes going so far, but it has those different issues, right, that you have with wireless versus what you have with wired. And the cost from place to place to place to place can be wildly different, unlike electricity. So, yeah, bringing that closer is a positive step.
The digital
too.
divide that's going on right now is, I mean, some of the hottest devices on. I always look at every Christmas gadget because I'm a gadget guy. This year's gadget was, you know, if it weren't for your Netflix and your Google, your Chromecast stuff, people's appetites are going to internet-based video. And if you don't have an internet connection, all of a sudden now your video options are challenged too, because you got Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, yeah, everybody offering video, but you got to have a robust connection. And now we're talking a connection of 20 to 50 minutes. You're just not going to do it very well on 12. So,
and that extends.
So my caution would be is when you start exploring these kind of conversations, you got to think big and you got to think longer. A short-term fix is not something. Here's this the world of at top. My opinion. Sorry, that's a disclaimer. I watch people trying to invest in hotspots and Wi-Fi. God, your subscribers outstrip the capacity of your bandwidth so quickly because you aggregate all of the bandwidth of all the subscribers onto these towers, and now you're pushing 50 meg across this thing for all the different subscribers watching all different programs, and it's very inefficient. And guess how long the depreciation and the obsolescence of the Wi-Fi equipment is? 5 years. I mean, and you got to go replace all the stuff on your towers. So we look at a fiber optic deployment as a 20 to 30 year investment. That's what we do for